Being alone and being lonely are two completely different things, like very, very different. Being alone means spending time with yourself, spending time with your thoughts, spending time with your energy. Being lonely, on the other hand, is something altogether. It's when you have nothing, no one to rely on. It's when, bro, you can't even be alone with your thoughts, like with the voices in your head, when everything just becomes too overwhelming. And then it mostly ends up making people feel sad, depressed, and all that kind of stuff. You know what? As bad as it might get, being alone, or as bad as it seems, bro, being alone might be the solution to literally all of our problems ever face, like just all of our problems altogether. There's this quote. Some of you already know it, and you know I'm definitely gonna give a quote. Yes. So the quote goes, all of humanity's problems, or all of man's problems, stems from his inability to sit alone quietly in a room. Yes, I strongly believe that because it's actually true. If you were to think about it, theoretically, not practically, like just in theory, if you were to just sit alone quietly in your room, not go out, not do anything, like just not vibe with anybody, mind your own business all the damn time, you will probably never have a single problem in this life. You also not have a life, you understand? Yes. But then you just not have a problem. So all in all, being alone may be the solution, or being alone might be the solution in the sense that sometimes you just need to detach a little bit, just a little bit, or you need to spend more time with yourself. Being alone just means spending more time with yourself, all in all. That's what this video is definitely going to be about. Sometimes the best thing we can do for ourselves is just, detach, or, remove ourselves from all the noise, from all the chaos, from all the drama. Yes, try as much as possible to avoid all of these things. And then if you realize, especially when you're detaching yourself from, toxic friendships, toxic relationships, toxic anything, I realized that it's very hard to actually find genuine, friendship, especially in this day and age. And then, bro, even though you might find some, like most of your relationships with everybody else is probably going to be a transactional one. When I say transactional relationship, I mean some, like, basically people are only around you to get something from you, or you're probably around somebody to get something from that person. And then it's toxic. I don't know, honestly, it's not toxic. Like, transactional relationships aren't toxic, but the way people do it these days is what makes it toxic. Because obviously, bro, I'm not gonna hang out with you if I'm not gonna get some sort of value from you. Obviously, maybe we all have a good time, we just vibe, we help each other, but making it a point to be transactional, like just be there. I'm here with this person because he's probably gonna help me do something, or I'm gonna get something from him. That is what makes it toxic. You know what I'm saying? To put it in a clearer light, I'm talking about most people coming around you, being around you, just because they can get something from you, or they can take something from you. And then and it's very toxic when these people disappear when you don't have anything to provide for them. Like, especially if they claim it's a friendship. Because if it's something like that, bro, we can just stay at that, and then we know that, okay, you're not really a friend. You're just somebody who's here to take something away, or because I can provide some sort of value to you. Mostly it can be emotional dependence, all that kind of stuff, like even monetary, like, I mean cash, you understand. And then, some people will pretend to be your friend, they'll pretend to be in your corner, pretend to, vibe with you. Also, they can actually just ask you for something in return. And sometimes it might look like they're literally showing care and concern for you, but then all in all, it's just a ruse, or it's just a format to actually get you to let your guard down, and then they start to ask you for something else. I don't really like this. I'm against this because, bro, yes. Let me share a bit of a personal experience. I realized back in the day, like some time back, that I was with this friend. And then all in all, even though that wasn't my mindset, like I genuinely wasn't trying to get anything from this person. I ended up, almost every time taking something from him. And then I realized that I asked myself, what kind of value am I providing to this friend? Because he was literally doing a lot for me. And then I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt bad, because, bro, every time we go out, I probably wouldn't do anything, and then he would end up taking care of the bill and doing so many other things. And it's not like I couldn't. It's just that's how everything ended up. Sometimes I couldn't. You understand? So everything just ended up that way. And I felt like I was taking advantage of this friend. I spoke to him about it, and he was like, bro, if I can, I'm definitely gonna do it. Plus, we are just good friends, you understand? So he was cool with it. But within me, I felt like I was kind of taking advantage of this person, even though I wasn't. I genuinely wasn't. So this got me thinking. I started to think about life. And then there are some people in my personal life who would come to me just for something. The most, the most common text I ever receive from somebody is, "Bro, can I have your assistance?" Or, "Bro, can you help me out with something?" It's very rare. I have very few friends who actually check up on me once in a while. Like, "Bro, you good? Bro, how are you doing today?" All that kind of stuff. And then it hurts me because honestly, I feel like I really do my best to check up on almost every single person. Like, once the week is over, I just go on my phone, try to text as much people, check up on people. Not because I'm a good person or all that kind of stuff. I kind of am. But because I know what it's like to, not be seen, not be heard. And then, especially when you're going through shit and people, like, you literally don't have anybody to talk to about it. It's a lot. It's actually a lot. But then I feel like we should literally step out of our own shit. Being alone is good, but we should literally not try to be with people just because we can get something from them. Well, if there's another thing that I can strongly see has made me become a better person, a better human being, a better friend, a better brother, a better son, just a better human being altogether, I'd say it's being alone. Obviously, I'm a human being. I have my flaws. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But being alone, spending time with myself has literally opened my eyes to so many things. How could I help this person? How can I help myself? How can I help myself to help this person? What kind of value can I add to myself to help this friend of mine? Or what kind of value can I add to myself to help myself to be able to get to where I need to get to? All of that came from me being alone, sitting quietly in my room, especially this year, bro. This year is like an eye opener to me. And bro, I'm never gonna get a year like this ever again. Obviously, there are like a lot of hard times I faced this year, but then all in all, I've been alone this year. Like, I've been with myself. I've spent quality time with myself. I can say I truly know myself at this point. I know the things I would do and I know the things I would never do. And all of that came from me being alone. You understand? There's this quote. There's obviously another quote. It says, "The beginning to all wisdom and understanding stems from man." The words, yes, stems from the words, "Man, know thyself." Yes, bro. If you wanna be, bro, the wisdom and understanding part. Let me talk about understanding. Wisdom, bro. Wisdom is way too broad, but understanding. To understand something basically means to get to have deeper meaning of that thing. You understand? To me having deeper meaning of myself, really being able to relate with myself, all that kind of stuff. All that came because I was alone. You understand? Because I was to myself, because I could literally think, feel free, be in my own personal space, be in my own skin, and not feel the need for something else. Like, just being to myself. Like, right now, like, there's literally nobody around with me. I'm just myself, being myself, talking from my heart, talking to a camera. You understand? I'm just gonna upload this so people can actually see. But at the moment, I am with myself and I'm happy. Like, I am genuinely happy because there's nothing for me to stress about right now in this moment. You know what I'm saying? You might not want to hear this. Most people don't want to hear this, but being alone simply means learn to be by yourself without a partner. And I didn't want to go into relationship aspect, but bro, it's all part of being alone. Let me talk to you a little bit. Listen up, really listen up. Before you can add somebody to your life, you understand, a partner to your life, you should learn to be okay by yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want to talk about this part, like this kind of thing. I don't want to talk about this kind of thing. So, but before you can add somebody, before you can actually do something, you have to learn to, before you can add somebody to your life, you have to learn to be by yourself. Because this person shouldn't come and be the center of your life. This person should come and complement your life. I've said this a couple of times. So before this person can come and complement your life, it's all up to you to literally know what your life is about. Know yourself. Know the kind of person you need with you. Don't just go for anybody. And I'm putting an end to this relationship part. I don't want to talk about relationships. The saddest thing that I've realized about being alone is that most people would rather prefer to be treated badly, to be treated like shit, than be alone. Most people would rather prefer people, like toxic people in their lives, than actually being alone because they think that being alone is the same as being lonely. That's the thing. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely, as I said in the start. And I'll literally explain, like, give you a solid reason why it doesn't mean you're lonely in the end of the video. So, right now, just stay tuned and listen up. It's better to be to yourself than to actually have people who aren't going to help you in life. And then there is one thing, one very important thing I feel like everybody should note. See, I'm a proud Christian. I'm a very, very proud Christian. Yes. There's one thing I know for a fact, and that is being alone, or God will literally show himself to you. God will literally talk to you only when you're alone. He will never say something to you, like something important to you, when you're in the midst of people. Obviously, sometimes there's a prompting of the Holy Spirit when you're doing certain things that, hey, don't do this, all that kind of stuff. But when God is going to reveal himself to you, it will always be when you're alone. So let's take Solomon as an example. Okay, Solomon. God revealed himself to Solomon. And literally, Solomon made his request to God to have wisdom when he was alone. He wasn't with anybody else. The Virgin Mary, God revealed himself to the Virgin Mary, told her about she gonna, bear kids or bear Jesus, sorry, when she was alone. Who else? Abraham. Abraham received instructions from God. To Let me just pick one instruction he received from God. The very, to literally sacrifice his son when he was alone. He didn't say it when he was around people. And Abraham kept that thing to himself. He didn't tell people about it. Because who are you going to tell you're going to kill his son? And lastly, Moses. For Moses, this is like a very vivid example. Like, think about it. God literally had to isolate him. A sheep ran away. You literally not talk about why did the sheep run away, all that. Because that was God isolating Moses. He spoke to him in the burning bush. He was isolated, away from people, alone. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. But one thing I've learned this year about being alone is that for anything significant to happen to you in a spiritual capacity, it will happen when you're alone. Simple and plain. The funny thing is that most of us want to be successful, but very few of us actually want to take the lonely road or actually want to walk the lonely path. But in every single success story, you will literally see a lonely chapter. You understand? People will literally watch you and then they wouldn't want to do what you're doing because they can, or yes, they can. And when they see you do it, they will hate you for doing it because you are literally there, or your presence is reminding them of their failures and their own shortcomings. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. Worst of all, probably when you're a nice guy, they will hate themselves for hating you because you're a nice guy. And then that's just sad. And then if you realize, or if you think deeply about this, all of this is just stemming from the fact that they cannot literally be alone. Like, they literally don't know how to be alone. So like I said earlier, being lonely and being alone are two completely different things. Lonely is when you cannot handle the being to yourself, the voices in your head, your own thoughts, being comfortable in your own skin, all that kind of stuff. And the worst of all is when you have nobody in your corner to talk to in your time of need, all that kind of stuff. So basically, you might be surrounded with people, but then you don't have any deeper connection with them. And then that's when you feel lonely, and it's bad. Being alone, on the other hand, is when you're comfortable in your own skin. You're comfortable being to yourself. You don't need to do anything for anybody's validation. You're happy with who you are, even if you're not around people. You might be, taking time off to focus on yourself, like what most of us probably are doing right now. Just being to yourself, understanding yourself, being in your own room, being comfortable in your own skin, being to yourself, bro. Come on. It's just a whole different vibe. It's just a whole different vibe. So that is why, if you ask me, I feel like being alone might just be the solution to whatever problem it is you're facing. Because at that point, you literally learn to understand who you truly are, what you truly stand for, who you truly believe in, what you truly believe in, what you should do with your life. So yes, being alone might be the solution. I'm Adarich, and you know this video is good. Like, subscribe, share, whatever you gotta do. And you know what? I'll see you in the next one. Much love, brother.